I'll tell a super quick story because I think it relates to what we're dealing with right now. I got into NFTs. I got into crypto through NFTs in October of 2021. And I was just finishing college. I took basically all of my savings that I had, which was like 20K. I put it all into Ethereum and I started trading NFTs. And for 4 months, basically, all I did was sit in Discord and Twitter all day and basically thinking, how can I flip NFTs? How can I take as much value from people or projects and profit off of it? For 4 months, I ran the 20K bag up to like 70K. I was like, I'm a genius, when in reality, it was just the market doing well. And then through a phishing scam, I lost 30K, 35K in one day. Worst day of my life.
Damn.
And then I realized, I was like, oh, I've been in crypto for 4 months, but I have nothing to show for it. I've built no skill, zero. I haven't networked with anyone. I haven't done anything. I haven't taken advantage of like this super cool industry. And it was that then forced me. And I was like, oh shit, I need to like actually build something or try to like learn a new skill, or else there's no point in me being in here if I'm just going to gamble on like anything. So I think that's one thing that people are starting to realize, where they're like, I've been trenching every day for the last 6 months, right? And now all of us, I've learned this super niche skill that now like doesn't matter as much. We saw like 60 tokens graduate from Pump Fund yesterday, and they're like, how do I apply this skill into anything else? And I think people are starting to look for ways to build their skills and kind of add more value to crypto in some fashion.
I think your thinking is the exact trajectory that I went through at the end of 2022. I was like, oh, I can't remember when it was, but like, this thing's not going to last forever. I better build something more significant if I don't want to have to go back to the 9 to 5 and the desk, like, we work around the clock now in this industry doing what we do, but there's clearly value by taking that risk. Before we hit the main stuff in a sec, like, since you've taken it in that direction, I think people would be curious. Like, you've obviously decided content, like what inspired you to just keep doing what you do now and take it in the directions that you do? And are there any other opportunities that, for people who are listening, who are like, might be in that situation that you just described, like what could be helpful to them to find the way for them to contribute to the industry in slightly a bigger way, a more meaningful way, rather than just be focusing on the Pump Fund launches?
Yeah, for me, it was in the creative world. I noticed that most of the content on crypto Twitter related to crypto sucked. Like, and the fact that we're on Twitter, which is a text first platform, meant that you had people, it was text first content from anonymous people, and none of it was very entertaining. I basically sat down, and for like 3 or 4 months, I was like looking at people's content, looking at people's marketing, and trying to find what the biggest gap in the market was. And initially it was helping people with marketing their brands, like their teams, NFT projects, whatever it was, companies. And then I just got into like the video content side. And by the way, if I was in any other industry that wasn't crypto, I would be the shittiest creator ever. Like, in no other industry can I have never, like, I didn't start making content until a year ago. And within the first 2 weeks of me making video content, of me showing up, yelling at a phone and just posting it, immediately got traction because there's no other competition. If I was doing that on Instagram about sports or in any other niche, I would have 15 other creators that are dominating me, that have 100 times the audience, that like literally it's impossible to compete unless I have something unique that I'm bringing to the table. Here it's open season, and it's still open season a year later. Who else is doing it? And this applies to video content, but it also applies to so many other things, whether it's podcasting, whether it's people sharing their thoughts on Twitter or whatever it is. It's, can you be consistent, and can you it's actually just showing up and being consistent. The other thing I'll say is, the very interesting thing that happens in crypto is very quickly creators in crypto, what usually happens is after about 2 years or whenever the bull market comes around, the class of creators that do well all of a sudden get rich very quickly, and then they lose the hunger, they lose the drive to continue getting better at their craft. I'm not going to say specific names, but there's been so many creators that I've watched that I'm like, these guys are freaking really good. And you watch them get better. You watch them at the very beginning where they're scrapping, they're grinding, they're grinding, they're grinding. And then a year later, the hard work pays off, which is awesome. But then they lose that commitment. So it's a really unique industry where you have people like the opportunity is so big for the top performers that opportunity then creates a weird effect where you have people that are not getting as good. So like, and you're even seeing it now. I tweeted this last week where I was like, man, it's so interesting seeing people that I think I kind of came into crypto with and started building skills with, like you guys, like Tyler D, like ICO, starting to like reap the benefits of what they've been doing for the last 2 years or so. But what happens with other people, I don't think it's going to happen with you guys or some of these other people. When you start reaping those rewards, it makes it harder to be like, okay, I'm going to show up and write the newsletter. I'm going to show up and do the little things that got me to this spot. So, and when you look at content in any other game, you look at like these sports guys, Stephen A. Smith, these commentators have been doing it for 40 years. I've been doing it for 1. So I'm like, oh shit, what else can I keep building my skills on? And lastly, because just to make this relevant for the audience, is if I were to look at like the biggest gaps that exist in the market right now, the number one thing I would do if I was starting from zero today is you have to start with a niche. You have to start with a niche that you can absolutely dominate in and lead with as much value as possible. I did it with Blast a year ago. ICO Beast did it really well with AI and base AI meme coin. Sammy as well. AI crushed that. I saw this guy named Walls_ETH do it with Kaido. And you have to find the niche that you can tap into. I think Kaido is still a very interesting niche to get into, and you can just saturate the hell out of. But find what it is that there is an opportunity in and really lean into that. I think SocialFi right now is a largely untapped market of someone showing up and just crushing it every single day. So just find the niche. I think it's SocialFi right now that's very interesting, and just dominate that. Like, and you're going to find that by saturating those opportunities and by really leaning in and adding as much value to that as possible. And by the way, adding value can be just you being your authentic self. Like, it doesn't have to be you doing that. I think initially I was very self-conscious of sharing my stances or my takes on Twitter, because I'm like, dude, what do I have? Like, what do I know? And I still kind of feel that way, but it's not. Figuring out what your competitive advantage is really important. My competitive advantage is I'm going to show up every single day, and like what I lack for in skill, I'm just going to work that much harder.